Hello and happy new year. This is obviously the first full week of the new year and always a bit of a shock to the system for everyone, post-Christmas, Christmas holidays, and just all the enjoyment and relaxation. So to start with, I just want to say thank you for every listen and comment, and I've had so many messages and lovely comments in conversation that people have had that I've been really surprised by of who's out there listening. So just a massive thank you for that. I never thought that I'd be able to have my own little community like this or do something like this. And obviously I hope that there is always something on any of these podcasts. We're now on the 12th episode that resonates with you in some way, shape or form, no matter whether it's small or big or only on one podcast. And it's always nice to sort of hear those comments back and any shares and tags on stories. It means the absolute world. So thank you. I just thought I'd begin there. So yeah, the new year. So I thought I would come on here and speak about just so many subjects that are prominent at the moment and people are talking about it, and just really goal setting and the new year and the perception of it. And I think there is a lot of pressure on it, and we're just going to go into those subjects of how we can sort of feel about the new year. And especially in fitness, there's such a big thing that you need to be absolutely perfect heading into the new year, and you need to cut everything indulgent out, or you need to cut everything else out, or you need to do a million things at once in exercise and do it 7 days a week. When actually, I think, let's reel it back a little bit. So I love New Year, my opinion. I love the idea that you can leave whatever's bad or not serving you behind, and you can leave it there, and it's like that refresh. And I think that's really nice to remember, and something that I will always come back to throughout this episode. So I think the thing with New Year is that there is a lot of pressure on it, and a lot of pressure in the fitness industry. There's always, we all see it. Well, I certainly see it. I don't know whether you guys are all gym goers out there, but we all know that November, December, everything gets a little bit quieter in the gym. And then January comes and it's heaving. And obviously then the pattern that you tend to see is by February, people kind of drop off. By March, people aren't too fussed. And then April, May, everyone panics again, heading towards summer. Whereas as a trainer and as sort of my job, and just it's to everyone to be enthusiastic about what they're doing and to have that consistency. And I think, again, with New Year, there is so much that, okay, let's just drop everything. We've not gone for the past month, so I'm now going to go 5-6 times a week. And it's like, whoa, slow down. Ease yourself into the new year, because there is a lot, and your body's had a relax, and it's had a rest, and it's had a great time, and it's eaten lots of goodies. And I always say to my clients, they're like, "Oh, I've eaten so much," and I'm like, "I'd be worried if you didn't." Who doesn't? Who wants to eat salad on Christmas Day? No one. And it's just what you don't want to do is feel too overwhelmed. I think that is the biggest point of today. And it's when we walk into the gym and when it is really busy, it's really overwhelming in itself. When we then feel that we have the pressure to meal prep for every single meal for the entire week, again, that's overwhelming. Instead, why don't we try and use the new year to be a better you rather than a perfect you? Also, what is perfect? And that's something we need to highlight, but just being that tiny bit better. And again, I've said it on other pods, and when I spoke about it with John and Emily, it's being that tiny bit better than you were yesterday. And, to start with for the new year, obviously we've had a bit of a relax, we've not had the same structure as we normally do. We've not had routine. We've not been in our normal jobs, whatever that may be to you. But it's about just, okay, what can I start with that's going to create that structure? Is it to start with eating three main meals a day with a sufficient amount of protein in? Is it eating, having just like one snack or one night, like one thing into the day that's going to know that it feels like an improvement compared to yesterday or compared to last week? And I also think that when we don't necessarily hit exactly what we want to in that first week straight after the new year or New Year's Day, whatever you want to think of it, we then almost feel like a failure when that's not what it should be about. It should be just about walking forward each day at a time. And, the first week, last week wasn't a full week of work, was it? New Year's Day was on a Monday. Some people went back to, say, Wednesday, Thursday. So nothing really felt completely normal anyway. So we just want to be better. And we can start with that. Obviously, okay, I need to improve my hydration. Okay, so let's pick it up. I have got obviously my beautiful new water bottle that has all the timings on it. And it's just knowing that, okay, yeah, over Christmas, I was probably a little bit relaxed. I did stay hydrated, but probably not enough. So my focus, if I can see my bottle in sight, I know I'm more likely to drink it. And that's always been a thing, and what I encourage to my team as well. And I think with New Year, it's use that better. Use each step at a time rather than thinking of these massive resolutions and these massive things and these massive fitness goals. It's awesome to have goals for the new year. And I really like the idea of setting yourself some targets, but we don't have to complete that in a week. We don't have to complete that in a month. And I think that's also another pressure that comes from the external. It's like, oh, what are your New Year's resolutions? And we've got things like dry January, veganuary, and all of these things. But I think sometimes when we go complete cold turkey, or we completely go off, we have this nutrition that we're not used to one bit, I think maybe trying things like that and trying to sort of improve that, to either cut down your alcohol or switch up your nutrition to try something new, that is a great idea. But I think when we put the pressure on ourselves, it means that we feel that we have to be absolutely ace on top of it, nailing it for that entire period of time. And there's so many different things along those lines at this time of year. And I think it can be a lot for us to try and cope with. A lot of people have said to me, what are your fitness goals? And it made me sit back, really. And that's why I wanted to do this pod today, because this year is the first year I'm not dieting for summer in 4 years. It's the first year I'm not doing a major shoot full of shreds and shredding down or whatever. And it's the first year, obviously, I'm not prepping. This time last year, I was getting ready to start my prep and to get ready for the stage. And I knew that. I always knew that. Whereas this year, it feels really weird. So I sat back and was like, oh, God, what are my goals? But I don't have any major fitness goals this year. Obviously, I'm trying to get well. I'm trying to grow and be my best self possible. And I'm understanding so much about growing and muscle growth and hypertrophy and really pushing that. I've never taken an off season like this, and I've never. So I don't know what it's like. So obviously here we go, and it's the summer of having a bit more of life. So for me, my goals this year are life and business goals. There's so many ideas, and especially with growing this podcast, and that I want to push towards and also enjoy life. Last year, it was like I kind of blocked out most of the year, my choice entirely. Whereas this year, there's some trips that I want to go on. There's some things that I want to book. I've got my friend's wedding abroad. And so I just took a step back to just go, I'm still carrying on my fitness. I'm still carrying on my gym. Nothing's changed. Still pushing for my nutrition. And, actually, it's like flipping the switch. And I'm still there doing that. Consistency is still the goal for me. It always will be. I don't think consistency will never not be the goal. And that's why I had the inspiration to sort of come on and speak about this. And I think it's just the best time to speak about goal setting and the pressures of it. And, I believe that, in being a better you, I think it can be really cool to try different things and try new things. I always like to try something new each year. Obviously, last year for me, it was the stage, which was definitely something new in terms of bodybuilding, not performing. Obviously, I've done that for years. And so I thought to myself, I said to my friends a couple of weeks ago, I said, I might start running. And they all turned to me and was like, with all their heads in sync towards me, thinking, what? Now, I am not a runner. I am not a runner. I will repeat that till I die. I've not tried it before. I think I did a 5K. There was like this Nominate 5K in lockdown. And I think it took me like 40 odd minutes to do a 5K. And someone then proceeded to say, did you walk it? No, I did not. I did attempt to run it. But it just took me long. I'm not, well, especially from my dancing, I learned to spike my breathing. So I'm much better at HIIT training and intervals and things like that because my heart rate's pretty steady and I don't feel crazy out of breath. So I thought, maybe I don't need to push for a major 10K or a marathon, a half marathon, whatever. As much as I find them insanely inspiring, and I've got a lot of clients who have done marathons and things, I just thought, why not use my interval training that I do anyway for my cardio every week and pick up some running and see how it goes. So last week I bought a pair of running trainers because I cannot do running in my Air Forces. My knees will absolutely break. Obviously you want something a little bit more supportive. So I reached out to my clients and just asked them, I don't have a clue what the best running shoes are. So I said, okay, what, tell me what to do here. So I got some recommendations and I tried it and I really, really enjoyed it. Now, whether I will enjoy it in 2-3 months time, I don't know, but I'm not putting that pressure on myself to be like, I need to do this, and this with the goal that I have. Now, the goal is purely to just try something new, see how it goes. Now, I will say my calves the next day were paying for it and I had DOMs for ages, as well as on top of my leg sessions. So, and it's just understanding that, you can just do little things that might be different. And I saw one of my friends post yesterday, she tried Latin and ballroom dancing for the first time in years. And then another one of my friends yesterday, she went gymnastics training for the first time in, oh my God, like 15 years or whatever. And it really just made me smile because I love the idea that people can just have a bit of a spring in their step for the new year. And, it's nice and you can feel motivated and you can feel buzzed for the new year, and I think that's nice. Everyone's got a little buzz. All my team do, and it's so inspiring, and they're inspiring me, and you guys are all inspiring me. And I think just don't put major pressure on yourself to achieve these massive, massive, massive things. Don't set. We can always have high expectations of ourselves and think very well of ourselves, and I think everyone should. We should all feel pretty good about ourselves and have that confidence. But sometimes when we set the bar so high, it's unreachable. Instead, if we just set the bar for a few steps in front, we will get there. And that I always say to my team, the goalpost can always change. So if we're driving it back to fitness goals, even for myself, the goalpost isn't now to get shredded. So the goalpost has changed now, and I'm trying to get as wham and as big and big and strong as I possibly can. So nothing has to be the same. You can get to, at the moment, you might not want to push to be shreds, and everyone comes into the new year, I'm going on a cut for January. Cool, but actually you might just want to maintain and just get a routine back and feel that love for the gym. And other people, it might not be. It might be to sort of cut down a little bit. Or you might just want to wait until towards summer. Some people find it inspiring when they've booked a holiday and, they want that push for that instead. So I think it's just break it back down and bring it back down to yourself. And rather than I see these people for 2024 goals and the lists are as long as anything. And it's why not just put 1, 2, or 3 things that you really want to try and achieve. And I'm all for writing things down. I love a list, as I've said in other podcasts. And my notes is always in front of me. But, just start small and be better. And I think too many can just seem too much for our heads. You know, it's the same as a to-do list. You've got a to-do list like that, you're not going to want to touch any of it, right? Whereas if you've got 3 tasks, one of them's going to be pretty long, but the other 2 are a bit quicker. You're going to chop off the quick ones and going to get rid of them, tick them off, and then you can work on the third one rather than thinking, okay, I've ticked off 5 and I've still got 50 to go. Make it manageable for you. And also with goals, it can be over there and we can have these massive visions. But unless we know the actions to take to get there, we're not going to get there. So you've got to be able to understand, okay, this is my major goal and I do really want to write this down and this is something I'm really striving for. Okay, but let's rewind it a little bit. What are the actions I need to do to take a teeny step closer to get there? Rather than going, I'm going to leap there. No. Take one step at a time. And just take the pressure off yourself. And because it shouldn't be stressful. These things shouldn't be stressful and we shouldn't feel stressed or pressured to achieve this and achieve that and go all the way, straight to that place, and just start small. And yeah, obviously these are the main topics that I wanted to speak about today. And I think people love having that little bit of motivation. Now, sometimes January, I find it can either go one of 2 ways. You can either feel, yep, fresh new year, I am ready to go, I'm jumping in the gym. But equally, like, if you feel like that then in March and you don't feel like that in January, cool, good for you. Let's smash it in March. And again, and this is how people, I guess, get in a rut throughout the year because, you know, January, they're still getting used to things like work's busy and just getting into routine again and structure and food and all of this. The second you get further down the line, like, it then just fizzles entirely, whereas you can have that, you can change anything at any one time, and it can be down to you to start that process. And obviously, as always, you want to enjoy most of the things that you do because you're more likely to do it again. So even if for the time being the gym doesn't interest you, why don't you find an activity? I mean, it's flipping freezing outside, so applause to all of those people that like the outside activities because it was frosty, or it is frosty at the moment. But do things that make you feel alive and make you feel like you love life. Cringe as it sounds. And I always say that to people when someone said to me yesterday, oh, you're even more as excited little happy little bunny as you are as normal. Now, anyone that knows me, I hope my enthusiasm comes across as much as it does as I do. But this is literally what I'm like in person. And I think you should just be passionate about life and be passionate about what you do. But take those small steps, because also when you try something new, back to what I said earlier, you might just really enjoy it and just chase it and just go for it. And yeah, I don't think there's anything else really that I want to majorly else say on this podcast today. I think I've summed things up pretty well, but main thing, start small, happy new year, and just enjoy the little steps and feel amazing for it. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me again. And yeah, here we go. I've got loads of subjects in the pipeline and guests along the way for the next few podcasts. And obviously, as always, I'm so excited to be on this journey with you guys. And don't forget to share, tag, and let me know what you think of the pod and if any of this has resonated with you. So yeah, thank you very much, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Hi everyone, Supergirl here, and I am a super fan of SMJ Media Group. They provide support for local businesses, charities and events, and of course create fun content for all of you. If you enjoy our content and would like to help support us, please go to buymeacoffee.com/SMJ Media Group and buy us a coffee.